James Ussher himself wrote the Annals of the World, and it was put out in the year 1650. Well, I've read the Annals of the World, and it's a medieval wonderment, is what it is. It's a medieval, what did James Ussher write? What did he understand, and what was he reading from? Well, having answered that question in that simple of a manner of saying, I've read it, I worked with it, I utilized the Bible in order to confirm that he didn't know what he was talking about, which he didn't, because we have in the year 2020 a medieval legend that James Ussher knew what he was talking about. And in the year 2020, we have a medieval cult that can't accept reality. So, in the year when we have the annals of the world written, what did the Bible actually have and say in the year 1611? Well, what I was able to confirm is that Deuteronomy 34:10 from 1611 said God and Moses spoke face to face. Then I was next able to confirm that Exodus 33:11 said God and Moses spoke face to face. So here we have this internet cult in the year 2020 that says, hey, has anyone seen God? You can ask them. You can go to that cult website and say, has anyone ever seen God? That's you included. By the way, anyone who shows up and listens to this, you're going over there and you're asking them, hey, I just heard that Deuteronomy 34:10 and Exodus 33:11 said God and Moses spoke face to face. I just heard that. So you go over there to help them turn off because you just heard it, because apparently you didn't know how to read the Bible. Apparently, anyone who runs across me explaining those two whole verses turned off the Bible from in 1611, those two whole verses turned off the Bible. God and Moses speaking face to face turned off the Bible. Oh, you no longer have a book. You only have a medieval legend in 1611 that James Ussher understood that God and Moses spoke face to face, and then therefore after how to even read the Bible. How to read the Bible. Well, God and Moses speaking face to face is pretty fucking important in the Bible. The finding God in the Bible is like the most important little element of the Bible to pull off and determine what did God want you to do when you found him. Do you want him? Did God want you to take him out of the Bible, or did God want you to get the Bible out of print from 1611 because you couldn't read it? It would be the latter, actually, because you think God magically poofed the earth 6,000 years ago, and it was because James Ussher, this medieval wonderment, read back in a legend, in English legend is what happened, kids. James Ussher went back in an English legend, an English interpretation of an English Bible, and it having been made so simple from him actually providing in Latin the annals of the world. I don't read Latin, but I understand Latin because I studied rhetoric, and I understand Greek culture, and I'm a rhetorical. How do you say it? Pastor idiot with the balls, fucking stupid. You're 1611 moron is a good way of saying I studied a lot of rhetoric in college. You balls, fucking retard. You think God magically 1611 poofed you? Wow, no, that was in 1859. You didn't know what the fuck you were talking about, Pastor. If you must know the truth, you've been following a legend, Pastor, ever since, Pastor. Way to go, way to go. A legend of a book you can't read, a legend of did we come together right, a legend of where's God not at, a legend you can't figure out. Oh, that's Jesus. Jesus, Yeshua Messiah ben Yosef. We love you a little bit more now, kind of Jesus Christos. We love you a little bit more now because we're taking Jesus off the English cross of a legend. Jesus. He was a very confusing point of earth history when God and Moses spoke face to face, and then he told you not to take any words wrong out of Torah, such as any of them. And then the 6,000-year earth idiots couldn't figure out that James Ussher didn't read a book about God. Rather, he read a medieval legend about creation that didn't happen, and then a medieval legend that remained in the the year 2020 about a Messiah who wasn't murdered on a cross. That didn't happen. Jesus himself never died. He was there witnessing Barabbas die, squirm on the cross for 6 whole hours, probably till they broke his, or didn't break his. We don't actually know because Jesus didn't die. He wandered away after that and had a hot dog after he watched Barabbas. I wonder if you finished that one out. Is a legitimate question you got to finish. Did you finish reading the Bible from 1611, from 2 whole Bible verses, and going and confirming that Moses wrote down all of the words of the Lord? Apparently not, since on cult website they say they can't find any of the places where it says God and Moses spoke face to face, and it meant something else. So when they found that Moses wrote down all of the words, they didn't know quite how to read them, or they didn't understand them at all. It was just the medieval invalid Bible is just too hard for them to read. I got questions that are too hard for them to read because there is no such thing as a Bible. There's only 2 Bible verses that are medieval invalids. That there's no such thing as a 2020 Bible in English. It is you have a medieval invalid language that erased your NASA data. NASA, you have a medieval invalid language in the year 2020 when you wrote of 140 trillion times the amount of water at the far edges of our universe. Now, life science is a medieval invalid language and a medieval invalid brain from going to an English school and watching English television. You're a medieval invalid country. You have English. Any English is medieval invalid. It's a made up English language. We don't need much more. I'm in English. I'll take care of you. You don't need Hebrew. You don't need Greek, because Greek and Latin were both dead medieval invalid languages before it got to English and remained. The English language is an entire medieval invalid language, children. The English language is a medieval legend of a world, actually. The medieval language of English. Why can't you accept reality now, English? That's the medieval legend of Jesus in the medieval legend of the medieval Bible in English in the year 2020. Take him off the cross and you got that. Welcome to the OTO, where you look at does God, where I'm able to, hey, you know what? In the year 2020, people are able to remove cataracts from by manufacturing a new eye lens, a new lens from the eye, manufacturing an artificial lens. And here you have this internet and you can't figure out that the Bible itself is 1611 invalid at James Ussher. Fuck. You can't figure that one out. Time to just get rid of the whole Bible and say, go to my website, www.seventhangelscroll. The Bible is a medieval invalid book. I'm Ben David. Duh. We need a new resuscitation of all of the stories, all of the legends of the Bible. How long have you had it? How long did you not know that the Bible itself was medievally invalid? Easton Press didn't know that when they published the James Ussher in 1976 with Darwin. And so Darwin is a medieval invalid. It's hard to explain, because in 1976 it's not hard to explain. It's hard to explain how dumb you are. Actually, it's difficult to. I've got words for it. I've got some medical terms for it that if you knew how to actually look at your spirit going in and out of your brain, you'd actually know what to look for when you're watching. Oh, you got a baby crying in your congregation, and it's because you said a word wrong from the Bible, and Jesus loves you. No, he don't. He doesn't love you. Jesus is a medieval invalid legend of an medieval invalid language. Children. Jesus is a medieval invalid legend of a medieval invalid language from 1611, and you have the entire Bible figured out. You're being preached a legend of a sermon. You're being preached the legend of Saul. You're being preached the legend of the formation of your church. You're being preached the legend of that your pastor knows what they're talking about. You're preaching anything other than a legend, but a medieval magic. You got a church. Wow. They have a book that's invalid from being itself an English medieval legend called the Bible. The Bible being a medieval English legend in 1611 gave us a lot different to work with. So as I sit here with this medievally invalid one, is because it's a medieval invalid Bible. This King James Version of the Bible right here in my lap, right in front of me. It's a medieval invalid Bible. Why? Why is it has an alphabetic index, a guide for religious workers, so that's why it's medieval invalid. Synchronous history of the nations, medieval invalid, right along with George Orwell and wow, Trinity College collapse. This got in this one. Better watch out. I think this is in the, when was this written down after the year 1859, not recognizing that the Bible was medieval invalid after the year 1859. This medieval invalid was written down, printed in 1923, and it kept going until 1960. Medieval invalid. So printing 1, medieval invalid. 23, printing 2, medieval invalid 1924, printing number 3, medieval invalid 1926, printing number 4, medieval invalid 1932, printing number 5, 1934, printing number 6, 1938, medieval invalid. Now, what would that make that medieval invalid? Did they get it right? Did they do it? Did they do that? Did they write their medieval invalidations in this one? I hope so. They did in the 1859 antique. So this is an antique, as we were reading from, as I explained. I got a lot of these, so don't worry about it. I went in 1859 antique in my bedroom. The Zohar, that's oddly enough, Rabbi Berg, that's an antique legend of a book that you have in print in the year 2020, and you couldn't figure out that the Zohar itself was an antique, Rabbi Berg. That was prophecy of me personally coming and ripping the 1611 King James Bible away from you all religion, Rabbi Berg. You didn't read your book very well. Why not? And it's because this one said the before the common year of Christ, 4004, in a Julian period. Yeah, so Rabbi Berg didn't read his book that very well. Or when the Four Stupids wrote 6,000 and 3760, it was 3760 in grade 8 a couple pages later. Yeah, and so we have an 1859 3760 to collapse that. But Trinity College, you forgot that Lord Kelvin also deduced, and Trinity College, Trinity fucking College, Trinity fucking College. You are a weird medieval wonderment that you got that book in print and you can't read it. You had Isaac Newton, you had Lord Kelvin elsewhere. Didn't learn from him. But yeah, James Ussher there at 13 years of age, and he's up there. Wow, a 13-year-old made it up to be a scholar in Trinity College. You'll do anything with a young little baby from the White Cliffs of Dover that God made and placed there. Oh my God, you had a medieval wonderment made from the White Cliffs of Dover. How old are the White Cliffs of Dover, and how long are you going to permit this 1611 Bible to remain in print because of Trinity College reading it wrong? Well, that says they forgot that they were a medieval wonderment of a school. Wow, didn't keep track of this very well. So with Trinity, we had a cleanup project. It's because it got out of your school and then into this Bible. In 1960, it was in the Bible, and it was already invalidating everything along the way, including the age of the White Cliffs of Dover. Trinity College, way to go. So you have to look at the Middle Ages a lot different, cult. You're just medievally magically invalid. You can't read a book. The Bible went kafuck us, kafuck you, left you in hell. The right done at James Ussher. He was a medieval invalidation of the whole fucking thing. Why do we have a cult in the year 2020? Well, that's because it's called a medieval invalidated brain. Duh, duh, duh. What does this book, Medieval Invalid English Legend of a Book, tell you to do if you read it wrong? Well, it told you the earth was without form. You read it wrong. The whole medieval invalid, the entire medieval Middle Ages, Trinity College collapse. It's pretty boring to read the Bible with me after that because it kind of we have to make each and every verse go away. God and Moses spoke face to face. Do you think that was an important verse, Trinity College, while you're collapsing into the 1611 Bible and figuring out what words you didn't understand in English and how they collated with you having a brain and how you can earn one as a furry, but you can't in the year 2020 with that internet cult on the internet. You can't even get a brain. Trinity College, you're not teaching anything. You're teaching you made it through the middle dark ages, Trinity College. Wow. You didn't keep track of the 1611 book at all, Trinity College. Right here in 1960, they put your Trinity College's edition, collapse that in the English Bible, in the English 1611 legend of a book. Trinity College, God would do that to you. So we have our medieval invalid college over there, Trinity College. What's in that? Isaac Newton was in it. Yeah, the greatest scientist of his age. Isaac Newton being the greatest scientist of his age, and that's getting from Greek. Let's do a comparison. And Judas spoke to him, saying, "The men I did solemnly protest and test." So is Isaac Newton really a good choice to keep on your wall of Trinity College? I'm the greatest scientist of his age. No, or Judah from Judah and the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. I'd take him because Isaac Newton, he was made from the White Cliffs of Dover, fairy dust, and you were magic poof furries in the United States. You're all you typing great apes is selling cults everywhere. It's like World Vision typing great ape cult, like Boeing, the Boeing company, they're all typing great apes under human evolution, by the way. Everyone, there's 7.7 billion of you who forgot that Kennewick man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain, who never had a chance to grow up to become a typing great ape like you. So you should just collapse your churches at that one. Fuck. Kennewick man, he didn't really give a shit about the volcanoes that didn't explode and never knew about them. He really didn't care. They didn't care. It just didn't care because during his lifespan, it never happened, or it did. If it did, it was like, wow, God's talking us, and there was a burp. God's talking. Oh, there's a talking animal who came over and told us, "Hey, you want to eat me for lunch? You can have my furs. I'm a cute little bunny. You want to have some gloves to make your medievally challenged wife who sews this for you, and you make wool out of the medievally challenged sheep that apparently like it in the ass. I don't know. I've never had sex with a sheep, but wow, you can't look at the age of the earth through the Grand Canyon and get it right. I checked to see who's had such sex with sheep in your congregation, and that's something I'd actually check on. Your pastor has a homosexual male lisp. It's kind of funny. It's a turn on to him. He likes it as he sucks on his goetic preaching from a false medievally magically poof sermon booth of a medieval magic poof English legend of the Messiah, English legend of Jesus, English legend, and he took it out. He can't figure out this entire book is an English legend. The medieval magic poofing 6,000 years, the 1611 still around. And so in 2005, Jimmy Swaggart did it again. In 2010, NASA didn't catch on. And I picked up all of the where it said that false. We already figured that one out, and that didn't happen. So it just was a medieval invalid of all of these books I got around me. So sorry about that. 1859, that was a medieval invalid book. a medieval invalid book. Now, so the Bible was medievally invalid, and medieval magic proof invalid 6,000 year had 4004 BC, and a legend you can turn up in 1960 from 1859. That erased the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1946 and really said, I don't give a shit about World War II, World War One, the B-17 flying over the. I don't give a shit about how old the White Cliffs, how long did the White Cliffs of Dover take to form? Well, it took a really long ass fucking time for you to pull your head out of your ass and close this cult. Stupid immoral retard. You have no brain. This thing's invalid. Listen, your interpretation of it being imprinted in the year 2020 is invalid. You're a medieval invalid cult. Bible, medieval invalid cult. Bible, medieval invalid cult. German Lutheran, medieval invalid cult in the year 2020. School, medieval invalid school in the year 2020. Public school, which there's nothing wrong with public school, but it is why you have the Corona-19 right now. And it is why, because you have this medieval invalid stupid moron anti-type cult and you an idiot preaching from a medieval invalid book on Sunday. That's medievally magically pooped invalid because it's on Sunday and it's in print in the year 2020 with the word Bible. And Jesus is elsewhere on a keychain. Your world's medievally magically poofed invalid on that little note. Jesus is he's on a keychain and somebody believed in him as King Messiah, but he was King Messiah, but you put him on a cross and so he went away and like I'm not there. Putting him onto the legend of Barabbas, a medieval invalid legend of a time you got you immoral incompetent cult, stupid immoral retard. You follow a Greek legend, you're an immoral retard. Turn off the whole Bible at what I just told you. You're following a Greek legend. You are an immoral retard. You're so fucking dumb. You're the most idiotic, stupid. You have no earth history. You're so dumb. You only follow the legend. You follow the legend from the Middle Ages. The legend of the Bible. The Bible left you in hell. Good place for it to have done that. Right on. It was because medieval invalid at when was it ever used wrong? Oh, you thought it had the age of the earth in it, and it's only because you put it there. It was a legend after that. It had the real age of the earth. It did. It said God and Moses spoke face to face, and Moses wrote down all of the words, and you got it wrong, and it was a puzzle after that. You're done. You're done. Hey guys, the Bible was looked to be brought together in 1611, but in 1666 you're done at that. There's no wisdom in even having a print still in the year 2020, not knowing what it once upon a time said. Well, it's a medieval invalid book. Trinity College, you're in a medieval invalid college. Your seminarians are medievally invalid schools. You're all medieval magic stupids. You're all, I can't figure you out. You're too dumb for even science now. You're medieval invalids at, you can't figure it out. You never had a science come up. You never had any reality come up. You did NASA. You got to the moon, but couldn't utilize that data to say that the Grand Canyon is old. Wow. So having the 1611 imprint at God in it, and there's a story of creation in it that you got wrong, and there's a legend of Jesus elsewhere, all Bible invalid. We're done. Welcome to the OTO. I have to tell you that you have no brain. That's by the way. By the way, you let the Bible go in print too long without understanding it. Today's Shabbat. Yesterday was Shabbat. Today's Sunday. You just got it all wrong and you're too dumb. Because you're a Sunday meeting Christian and you couldn't figure out your church was a cult. You couldn't figure out your Bible was invalid by medieval invalid after the year. Oh, when did James Ussher not have it right? He didn't even have that Bible. So when James Ussher didn't have the King James Version of the Bible, and it did have 80 books, and it did have 80 books, he wasn't fully on going through all the verses and lines of, hey, which verse of the Bible turned it off at? Well, that was Deuteronomy 34:10. God and Moses speaking face to face turned off the Dead Sea Scrolls. Little babies, you medieval, invalid, stupid, sick cults. You're all too stupid for the Dead Sea Scrolls. Too immoral, incompetent is reality. You're too dumb with the 1611 Bible. The Dead Sea Scrolls put you out in hell. You're really, really, really too immoral, too stupid for the Bible. Too dumb for one word in it in order to compare it properly with the Dead Sea Scroll. One Dead Sea Scroll, one in medieval invalid 1611, and you have all of the Dead Sea Scrolls figured out all of a sudden at God and Moses speaking face to face. Dead Sea Scroll 4Q377, get you out of hell with. And you're done with the Bible. Your Dead Sea Scroll research you never tried is done. Now go to my website and get rid of your church because fuck, that was 1611. No, that was before. That was 1666. That was when 1960 you kept with the same legend from 1859 that you still have on the internet in the year 2020. Same legend, Christian, same legend, Christian, same legend, English legend, Christian, same. Turn off the entire Bible. There's 7.7 billion of you. Dude, that's not cool. Get rid of the Bible. Get it. Take it out and stop preaching it. You're so done with it. Jesus is a medieval invalid legend, you moron. So we finally judged that you couldn't read a medieval Bible in English. Yay, we're done. Got a cult on the internet still. Wow. Correct the Bible for 1859 legend. Wow, that's really swell. Didn't correct it for English legend at all. Way to go, NASA. You're just English legend. Uh, English is just a legend made up language. Hey, you figured something out and you made it to the moon on accident. The book of how you did that, the book of son of David, the son of Abraham, and that's where. So in the book of Galatians, where it calls all you idiots, it fit. Abraham begat Isaac, and so you had your first parent instance in Torah. You had to memorize, and you couldn't because you took God out of the Bible, and then you thought, oh, that was for getting your dick wet and sucking on it on your goetic, demonic, stupid, sermonic, demonic. It didn't preach a sermon when I saw the multitudes. You sucked on your own dick 7 times. You're a fucking pastor. Uh, and you did. And so you read 7 whole verses, which said God and Moses wrote shit down for you and said, fuck you, fuck you. We had the White Cliffs of Dover collapse at Trinity College. And we're done with the whole Bible, 1611. Once upon a time, you didn't know how to read it, but now you do. And so all this red letter stuff went away. And so that's where Jesus wrote something. And it came, then came Jesus to Jesus' scribes. Very important people who wrote, people smart about after the year 3500 BC. We're going to trick them. They can write something down. I'm going to not be there. So, and Pharisees. So I'm going to make some commotion with those guys. Let's see what happened. Which were in Jerusalem, saying, so which were of Jerusalem. So they came from of, and it came to pass, which is your Book of Mormon, which is that's your plank at it. And every time it said that, you should think once and get it right, and you couldn't for some reason because you got a medieval invalid book. Why do the disciples transgress the tradition of the elders, such as accepting reality? For the White Cliffs of Dover, reality; for the age of the earth, reality; for the reality of the Grand Canyon being, your children thought it was 6 million years erosion, and you said it was 6,000 years. Just didn't fit their math either. So it doesn't fit either because it doesn't fit the age of the Alps, which is 770, which kind of fits, Try the age of the Earth is 18 miles in the 1 mile depth, and the age of the Alps being pushing up and showing you right there, and not from satellite imagery. NASA too dumb to figure out. Why is that, NASA? You didn't calculate back from Pangea. Well, you forgot Lord Kelvin. Lord Kelvin had the deduction that the Earth was cooling off from the sun, and that kind of happened. Kind of. That was during that era. When was he born? Let's get his birthday. Let's go see when Lord Kelvin. So 1651. Could investigation of the ancient civilizations and their historical records prove the accuracy of the Holy Bible, where God and Moses spoke face to face, and Moses wrote shit down, and after that, the entire Bible's invalid? Annals of the World, originally published in Latin. And so in Latin, your Latin Bible comes from English, English, Latin, English, confusion. Oh, we're tapping through Torah scroll, and they don't even know how to read it. The letter Hey, that one's kind of funny. So my Sauling cult up there, Bat Tikva, tapping through the Torah scroll. Hey, this is a good legend. How did you get the Torah scroll? And why you don't celebrate Simchat Torah? Right? Why not? God and Moses spoke face to face, and now you have Corona. That's Simchat Torah. By the way, another reminder. Hey, you had a medieval book to read through and figure out as a medieval legend, but you couldn't. The medieval legend of the Bible, it's still in print in the year 2020, and you've never read it all. So this red letter medieval legend of the Puritan in 1960, in 1824, 1829, and 1960. All medieval legends. So you stopped at medieval legend. Science just woke up. We think it might be 6 million year, 20 million year explained the Grand Canyon, and you never considered that because it didn't. But Genesis 1:9 did, because that was Pangea, and Pangea being described by God and Moses speaking face to face, and Moses writing it down, and God flipping you fucking young heart magic poofers off from the 770 million year Alps with the Matterhorn right there. Hey, I'm the same age as 18 miles across and 1 mile depth instead. That's how the Alps look that way. And God doing like this in the Matterhorn, 18 miles across, 1 mile depth, and the 1 hour day Earth with pterodactyl on the back of T-Rex. Not yet. To pterodactyl eating the fossil remain of flea that Lilith pushed into the fossil remain in China. They were just collecting some bugs I found on the internet. Nell at Life Science. Wow, he grew up from a grade ape. He didn't know about Lilith that well. Whoa, Lilith. So Lilith was following around with Adam, and they flew over there and they pushed those 9 fossil remains of fleas. And the fact that you have enough brain capacity to figure out their sexes at Life Science, way to go, Nell. We grew up from a grade ape. Magic Poof Furry, Nell. 25%. You have a cult to turn off, Nell. Why don't you send them an email and say, use this technology? Hey, I found this fossil remain of a flea that showed to me that at some point when I couldn't figure out the age of the Earth, everything before the year 4004 BC said we evolved it. Now I have you as a cult to turn off, and I said evolved. So it's evolving. It evolves. So now I got 3 stages to get a cult to actually accept reality. Hey, I'm going to clean up my data that said I couldn't figure out before the James Ussher chronology. Way to go, Nell. We turn you off at the same time as the Pope. Puff on the Pope from Nell. Doing his job for the first time ever. Puff on the Pope from Got Questions Stupidville doing their first job for the first time ever. Oh, that was Lilith and Adam flying around and pushed those fossil remains of fleas into the over there. You're all in hell. Yeah, the Lilith did that to you. Sorry, she's always on my back. Got Satan chained up downstairs. Yeah, welcome to the OTO. You need a little bit of a descriptive analysis of what happened to you. So during the Middle Ages, you didn't know how to read words that well. A little bit of an understatement, and then you followed a Puritan bullshit story. Oh, I'm going to build a fat, stupid, 6,000 year Earth culture. Yeah, who doesn't even know the age of the Earth that built a medieval 6,000 year Earth church culture? Yeah, way to fucking go. An age of the Earth through. We don't have to pay attention to science at all, and we just going to sit here being taught a fairy tale, a medieval fairy tale of a Bible. Trinity College collapsed. You're a medieval fairy tale of a school. Yeah, all you seminarians, your medieval fairy tales. Your book, your red letter legend of your book, your red letter legend of your 6,000 year Messiah. You're all medieval invalids. You're all medieval English invalids. You have no science because of book. No, we're done. It's the red letter legend component that Jesus actually had a little bit more authority than you permitted him to have in your brains. You never really thought about it. Who wrote that down? Well, that was pterodactyl on the back of T-Rex. That happened. Kennewick, man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain never needed any writing. They don't need your book. Still, for you to understand that naked tribe hunting monkey in the Amazon is your missing link, and match the Australian people who were there 65,000 years ago without writing, and we're happy without you, and they don't need your book, and they don't need they need on this internet. Australia, did you know America didn't know you were there and accept you as a real continent? Yeah, the year's 2020, and 25% of the Americans still don't know that the Australian continent is a real continent that has real history of real people that go back 200,000 years. Wow. How could God do that to you? By having this Bible in print, by having the English Bible in print and valid. That's how he did it to you. Wow. Having the English Bible in print, he did that to you, you little immoral, incompetent Christians. With the legend of Jesus, red letter legend, 1859 red letter legend, 1960 red letter legend, 1611 wasn't. Where'd you get the red letter legend from? Well, that was Trinity College collapse at. You painted some monocles of brainless idiots on your foreheads. You were made from the White Cliffs of Dover, fairy dust, magic poof babies. Wow. I'm still amazed you got the moon on the power cut on a flat earth legend. Retention still. Wow, on a 6,000 year Earth, and you got $28 trillion of debt in the United States. You guys need a lot. We got to get this entire Bible out of print to say, hey, you know what? It's cost the United States $28 trillion of debt to have all of these volcanoes explode and no keeping a good track of it, but I did that for you. So, Washington State has cost the world $250 trillion of debt to have all of this volcanic activity that's gone back over 200,000 years, over 500,000 years, over 12 million years. It was cost the world over $28 trillion in debt for me to record myself. That was pretty insane for how stupid you are, you stupid, immoral, incompetent, retarded cult. For $28 trillion, hallucinative, stupid debt, and they can't figure out that the age of the earth is older than 6,000 years age, and you're too dumb for reality now. Nobody can figure that one out. Nobody can. That's the 1611 did it to you. Scratch your head for 7 whole minutes. When did man invent writing? Well, it's the 1611 properly put together and retained in James Ussher's reduction of his brain cells from it. No, it's not. In fact, it was never valid after that legend of 1611 bill being James Ussher's 1023 4004 BC monocle in time to make it worse. Lord Kelvin tried, but he was a committed Christian, just like Darwin wasn't, but he wrote as a Christian. In 1859, he wrote as a Christian, so it got published. As he wouldn't have no. So you passed over the 1610 inertial data on this internet because you don't read and you don't understand how the legitimacy of the 1611 book is a medieval puzzle. So I'm giving you an anonymous tip. This is a medieval puzzle, and the medieval puzzle point was at the blood of your children, your daughters. Read it from the instances of barren and infertility and sterility, and you're done. You took God out of the Bible. You have no brain now. You have encephaly. This thing is done. This is a medieval invalid in English. We're done with Bible. You have to read each verse as 1611. What millennium is it now? When we couldn't read it before, and you're done. Well, in 1440, you had the annals of the world to go. You're done at, and he didn't read it very well. It was a medieval wonderment. Look at how he provided a great ape legend that kept going. Wow. Broken school, broken church, broken medieval invalid English Bible. He can't figure out that's in the German cult, the medieval invalid Bible, German cult, Mormons cult, medieval invalid Bible, King James Version medieval invalid cult, cult on the internet. You're not even valid. You're too dumb for reality. Turn off that. Wow, 6,000 year in, we're all done. Never been 6,000 years, you morons. And we're done. We're done with you. Got questions.cult. We're done with you. We thought our way around. Hey guys, does NASA make better sense to us now? 4.543 billion years for the age of the Earth and 4.53 for the age of the moon, and that's pretty good comparisons, and we'll take that because it's the universe is still expanding, and we know that. And there's 140 trillion times the amount of water that NASA scientists know about, but Christians too dumb to accept as reality, so they can't even accept God. And Moses spoke face to face and left them in with this simple medieval puzzle in English. Turn off Bible app because of you couldn't get it, you didn't understand it. Turn off Bible because of you didn't get it. It's a medieval invalid. Turn off Bible because you couldn't understand it. It's medieval invalid cult organization. There's 7.7 billion of you. You don't know that your Bible is medievally invalidated by even having it. What did it say and what did it mean? Well, you're a medieval invalid cult. What did it say? Well, we ended up with you somehow. How did we get you? Well, that's because you have a medieval invalid legend of creation. that never once worked for science. And when it did, they made their own shit up and came up with their own things. Say, why don't you work together a little? Some things will scroll. I already did it for the 140 trillion times the amount of water. That's just Genesis 1:9 and an explanation of Pangea. That's just that. Thanks NASA for even. Wow, is that water for real? Wow, that story's for real. When God and Moses were speaking face to face, I can't do other than it, splash it on your fucking immoral, incompetent, retarded Sunday heads. You're so dipshit. I'm all done with that book. You can't read. Fuck. Jesus in the Bible was the English legend it stopped on, by the way. Turn it off at because of Jesus, get him off the cross. You're in hell. Duh. And then you have no Bible, oddly enough. I can't do much else other than go to my website and explain. No. Nothing in Bible. Nothing in the old, nothing in the new, aside from everything you needed about all world history in the old, like God and Moses speaking face to face. When was that? Let me scratch my head a couple times. That was when he wanted you to get out of hell with because you have a medieval envelope. God himself he walked among those people, those idiots who got Auschwitz. You fucking immoral retards in the United States. You can't figure out the earth history from your own mountain geologic ranges and magic proof volcanoes to 500,000 to 12 million years ago. You can't figure that fucking out with the Cascade Mountain Range right the fuck there. When's the next time Mount Rainier going to pop off like that little fucking pimple, you immoral retard fucking cult of a pimple? Questions out. You got dumber and dumber with the delusional disorder. Got questions? Cult? You've let the Bible go in print too long. At medieval invalidation, you're a medieval invalid cult. Got questions? Cult? You're a medieval stupid. You're dumb. You're dumb. You can't figure out what millennium it is because of the Bible. You can't figure it out. Holy fucking shit, nothing's ever once upon a time ever changed. When and how did this thing get so perfectly wrong? All of it's every time it's ever been printed. Oh wow, every time. You couldn't figure it out as it got wrong elsewhere, and then you kept doing. You only had the single wrong, and it's always wrong, and it's always wrong. This red letter just goes away. That was medieval invalidation of the entire Bible at 1859. 404 BC, 3760, medieval invalid. The Zohar, they had prophecy of me coming and taking the Bible from you because you're medieval stupids. So that's what we're going to do. Get it out of print. Tell you what you'll see behind it if you actually did that. Oh, you see that you have no brains. You have no brain. You have this thing called ancephaly because you were born and you work for a cult. No, we're done. You're a medieval invalid stupid. Wow. Now, upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came into the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. So there's the Zohar, and prophecy of even how to read this thing. So you got the Cold War era, you had the Zohar, but you were too dumb for the English language. Israel was too immature to reconcile at. Oh, we had Auschwitz. We should read a little bit and make sure that our rabbis before us didn't write down anything for us about anything going on, such as keeping the Bible in print for too long. It was invalid. Did they tell you anything in Israel about that? You got Auschwitz. Why didn't you think of that? It was invalid. Little babies, that's what happened. They had you got the record of the Cold War with the nuclear bomb, but you don't need much more than that. You took God out of the 1611 Bible and you couldn't read it and got left in hell after that, Israel. Why'd you do that? Medieval Invalid Exchange at Dead Sea Scroll 1, 4Q377 that in Medieval Invalid Inclusion get you out of hell with. So the Bible is a medieval invalid cult organization. You're pretty dumb. It's medievally magically invalidated in 1611 English. That you couldn't read it. That you couldn't understand the 1611 was an English legend, a medieval invalid legend itself with Jesus. You didn't see that, and you didn't notice it. He wanted to return and things like that. You didn't think about it. You had a legend. You kept going with the legend for how long? Couldn't figure out that it was a legend. The Bible was a legend in the year 1999 when you guys began at 97. Let's give you that. The 1859 Kitty Hawk, James Ussher, 1581. He died in 1656. And in the year 2020, you still have a 6,000 year Earth legend. Bible medieval invalid, medieval scholar, 1859, 2020. 2020 6,000 year Earth cult. 2020. So you still have a 6,000 year Earth. NASA was at 2020 NASA. When did James Ussher write the Annals of the World? 1650. Could an investigation of ancient civilizations and the historical records prove the accuracy of the Bible? Yes, the question. Could the investigation? Well, yeah, that would be two verses being pretty solid. God, with the 1611 legend and not having God in it. The 1611 Bible, if you read it wrong, any of it, if you read it with Jesus, if you have it in print and you didn't go to Deuteronomy 34:10 and say, oh, what happened to all earth history, then you have no book. You have no, from 1650, you have no book. You had to go back in and say, well, which verse did you get wrong at? And that was Deuteronomy 34:10, Exodus 33:11. So you couldn't figure it out. 1611, invalid English. So I'm in David. Invalid English history of the age of the earth is kind of no. Moses was 120 years, and now you have an invalid earth history. Cult. Now you have an invalid earth history because you couldn't figure out how to read the 1611 Bible properly. Cult. You couldn't figure out how to read it properly. Oh, it's still 1611. I wonder what it told you about it. That was the barren instances if you have no brain in encephaly, Washington State doctors like myself concerned. You have no brain in Washington State cult organization because it's gone on too far. It's just gone on too far. This 1611 invalid. God in it. How do we put God back into it? Well, we have to get at what did it do with you, the blood of your Menarchils, and get the real data out of this book. So once I did that, it's done. It's done. We're already done. The NASA, the Menarchial data, the book, the books, the 5 books that are, so actually 7. So let's go back. Then let's answer this one. When could an investigation I am always disappointed. No, the Bible is invalid, and you couldn't figure that one out. That's why it's always stinky wrong. You're preaching a legend. The Bible's invalid, and you're always stinky legend invalid. Investigation of and their historical records. Prove the accuracy of the Holy Bible. Well, that's the not that question is invalid because it's 1650 2020. Hey, look, we got it. We have something, and Amazon. Wow, a book. Wow, a book on Amazon, and nobody using 1650 data to figure it out. That's because you're all still stuck in 1611, Bill, and the Bible had 80 books, and you're too dumb for it. This is a good way of putting it into context right there. Could an investigation of ancient civilizations and their historical records prove the accuracy of the? Well, yeah, what is the name of this Facebook group? Is what was just on NPR. NWPB. Yeah, so we have the Spokane Indian Reservation. They've been there longest time. The, the real question is not could an investigation of the Bible it's could an investigation of reality show to you that the Bible is a legend if you tried? And yeah, that's what happened to you. That's what happened to you. An English legend of the entire Bible. Well, I tried and we're done. And it's an English legend. I'm a Ben David guy. It's you get the rockin' horror, rockin' Bullwinkle end of the road, the curtain dropping, the end, and underneath the curtain comes the little guy with the broom sweeping up, and that's Ben David. You had him, but you didn't watch it. So I wasn't looking for Ben David. I was looking for Jesus to return. And Jesus himself being a medieval legend, you're looking for a medieval legend that never left. And you just don't have him in your schools and you don't know a word he had for you. 1650 left in hell. You have a medieval legend of Jesus in the 1611 red letter legend, just gone. Invalid English history of the age of the earth because of, and you're just gone. Your English legend in the Bible. Could an investigation of ancient civilizations and the historical record prove the accuracy of the Bible? No, they'll just say, how long did you keep it in print for at that? Wow, that was the longest time. Why'd you do that? Hey, NASA, did you know the Bible that had been broken from 1859 when it never came together in 1611? You guys didn't sniff it out that well. It was not a good book. It was just a broken medieval invalid book. Just a broken medieval invalid in 1611. You couldn't figure out because in 1859 you kept it and then thought it told you the God magically poofed 6,000 years ago. You're never going to wake up. Imagine if Lord Kelvin had bought that pretty. He was a committed Christian like Darwin wasn't, but he wrote his one area he wouldn't have ever gotten published. By the way, that was that era, 1859. Up to then, practically the whole world were dumb enough to accept the Bible of the James Ussher chronology. Now in the year 2020, you still have the Bible somehow, and NASA scientists telling you that the Earth is not 6,000 years of age. So we have to correct it at October 23, 4004 BC, 3760. Both of those are invalid. Uh, Lord Kelvin, just a sec, I'll be over to you. Well, I blow some marijuana in your smoke because you need a new sacrament. I've been David. So in all of my High Times magazines, where I got pictures to show you of not great apes, we you have 500-year confusions of you got a cult on the internet. And look at each other in your eyes and your wrinkles a little bit closer and make sure that you understood how mommy and daddy had sex. Wow, the birds and the bees of the Neolithics missed out at homosexual great apes. Wow, you kept each other as whoa. Keep yourself as furries. Keep yourself as furries. You're a Christian. You're a furry. You're an evolutionist. You're a furry. That's all I got. I got nothing better for you. In 1,000 years, your children will grow up to become smart, but you're not there yet. You'll never be there. You're it's in the year 2020 and you have the Bible still in print. You'll never make it. So 1650 2020, you can't turn out the Bible from 1650 legend. Wow. So 1650 legend is what I just returned to the library. Couldn't. Talking about a coronavirus as it should be dealt with on NPR. No, this is 1650. You have coronavirus in year 2020 cult on the internet. And an emergency of this election. No, collapse your churches because you even you use the word emergency. You don't have a fucking emergency, you moron. You can't figure out the age of the earth, you idiot, because NASA did it for you. Bringing back the Senate and the White House. No, take a what the United States needed to do in 1859 to what are we going to learn from our science? That NASA, way to go, you grade 8 Phils are furries now. NASA scientists, you're all grade 8 furries. Put on your business card. Hey, I'm a grade 8 furry. I made it to the moon. When? Wow, that was pretty special. That you made it to the moon on a powered kite, NASA. That you got a Christian church right there. They have an invalid Bible you couldn't read. NASA, God left you. God and Moses spoke face to face. You lost all Earth history because of NASA. Way to go. So, NASA, how do you feel about that one? Having the Bible in print in 1611 through to the year 2020. At 2005, 2010, Bible in print and read the letter legend of Jimmy Swaggart's kind. Wow, wow, wow. I got them all. Don't worry about it, Nessa. You too didn't keep track of the Bible. So I took it. I took it. I took it. I'm Ben David. And we got to go back to every word of the Bible. Oh, it was a medieval and valid, Nessa. The entire Bible, medieval and valid. That's why you can't figure out what it said and told you to do for if you found out how old the age of the earth is compared with the moon, and you did that, but you didn't go back to collapse your churches out for some reason. The Pope in Rome authorized you to keep going. We can't. No, try. Oh, wow, that's an interesting thing. She made up a word. Okay, yeah, quasar. That was kind of special. We have this thing called God in our book, and we can't figure out that God was for real. NASA, the Christian can't figure out that God and Moses spoke face to face, and that God was for real, and turn off the Bible app because of God and Moses spoke face to face. He was an albino male sitting there right there in the tent of meeting Israel. Why do you got Auschwitz? You don't need the Bible. Just the filling in of the invalid Earth history after 1611. Where'd you go wrong at? 1666. You went wrong out and out there. Nothing. There was nothing in the Bible, but don't have it in print. And I was done with it. 1611. Don't have it in 2020 because of Annals of the World, originally published. We have to make sense out of all of that because of 1610 left you in what era to look at. Oh, that was your entire church system and the blood of human archies. Oh, that's rises and birth defects. Washington State doctors concerned. Yeah, we have a mountain nearby that poof 500,000 years ago with a 12 million year base that Christian can too immoral to accept as real. They're too dumb as they go drive through. Geology figured out the age of the earth for you. And we have this picture of Pangea and we know about it. And while I understand pretty well the multiple supercontinents coming up out of the earth, what they missed out on and they got it all wrong at, and it's an invalid theory at, is that yes, you had how many supercontinents floating around, wobbling around, and moving and twisting. You can see them like the tail of a snake. You can see that from Little Diomede all the way around through that entire would have been Pangea. They're from Washington State, Little Diomede, right up here as a 1 hour a day Earth. It's begin 2 hour a day Earth. The Grand Canyon is 1200 degree baking hot, and the Alps are still nothing on them because the oil hasn't been produced yet. So as the Alps are pushing up, it's swelling out and swelling out, and the Earth is growing up, and the Grand Canyon is going like that. And the Matterhorn is doing this to you, fucking stupid idiot Christian. That was your B-17. You're so fucking dumb now, you idiot. The Earth has never been 6,000 years of age, you stupid, immoral, incompetent retard. Jesus has always been a legend, you idiot. Invalid history of the church. Jesus has always been a legend. Idiot. At cult. Moron. Fucking English moron. What in the fucking English legend? What in the fuck? You are a worthless retard. You fucking immoral retard. Fucking piece of shit. Fucking cult. Fucking stupid immoral retard. Fucking English stupids. You're as dumb as stupid. You're fucking stupid, 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 stupid. You fucking immoral retard. You moral fucking dipshit. The entire English New Testament is a legend. You're a fucking dipshit idiot. The Apocrypha of the Gideon. Oh, that was Saul changed his name to Paul. Into meeting said God face to face. You're too dumb for any word of the Bible of Jesus in English. You're too dumb for it now. You're too dumb for it. You're too dumb for it. You let this book go in print too long without being solved as a medieval puzzle, which is what it was. 6,000-year medieval puzzle. Turn it off because of, and to figure out what happened to you scientifically. Yeah, you grew up. Wow. Wow, thanks NASA for growing up. But you forgot about the Bible, and so you can remain really, really dumb with Jesus. Jesus is your false Messiah legend guy. No, take him off the cross and just be done with the Bible at the same time, and when we're all done with Jesus. And I got a lot of stuff to bring you through, like all world history where you were cast as magic poop furries, and I got all Earth history where you were magic pooped into medieval furries in the year 2020, making it to the moon on a power ride. It's pretty cool. Wow, how'd you do that? Welcome to the OTO. We haven't quite figured it out, but the Jews got Auschwitz and you got the Dead Sea Scrolls, and you have no history. So, wow. Wow, I'll help you out, but you're kind of in hell. Kind of know you are. You're preaching from a sermon booth, and you're a moron. You're not looking. You're the blood of your children. You're too dumb for Earth history now. Too dumb to accept there's reality in the Bible. Too dumb for the Bible now because you're a Christian. Too dumb. At the word Christian, you're false. At the word Christ, you're all dumb. The Bible's a Jewish legend in English that you made up on Jesus at. By the way, NASA, how do you feel about that? That's why the Christian's too dumb to accept the 140 trillion times the amount of water at the far edges of our space is for real and in the Bible. Too dumb to notice that. It is. That's because they're following a legend of the book itself. The book be invalid, you moron. 1540 invalid. 1640 invalid, always had remained. I didn't know the legend of creation, you idiot. One would think that the modern 2020 cult would be fascinatingly interested. Hey, I've never understood my book ever once, but they can't. That for some stupid reason, they're too dumb to accept reality. It's always been a medieval and valid. The Bible has always been medieval and valid. The Bible has always been a medieval and valid. So as I make my breakfast with some eggs with the letters EGGS, what millennium in the English language to grow up from English. Well, you grew up as grade 8 furries and magic poofers and medieval legend keepers, and the Earth remained 6,000 years for a really longest time, a little bit too long for reality because NASA grew up out of that one. So that was a medieval legend that you couldn't figure out your way out of. Jesus was a false medieval legend of a Messiah, a medieval 6,000 year legend of a book you couldn't figure out. A Jewish legend made it in English. places like that, and we all be done. Welcome to the OTO. There was nothing in your Bible but a way to get you out of hell with. Ben David's from the OTO. So you know, for me, when you're reading the Zohar, what Jews you'd think you would have looked a little bit closer for me personally, because the Zohar is about me coming and going around the internet all over the place. Hey, you have this volcano right there, and hey, there's a volcano over there, and hey, there's Menerchi patterned in the blood of the Menerchi, your daughters in Washington State. Doctors concerned rises in birth defects and stuff. Well, that's because you didn't understand one word of the Bible. Left it in print so you couldn't read it. English Bible you can read because it was in print in English. Sorry about that. The Mormon said, "Go get your copy of the Book of Mormon." It was real legitimate prophecy. Go to my website. It really happened. And go to my website. You got this internet now. Yeah, the Book of Mormon is for real. It got printed. And yeah, it was a prophetic of a prophet. You got to take the Bible away from it. Explain that the earth's not 6,000 years of age any longer to a prophet even. That's a pope. You're a moron. Church in Rome has always been invalid. Always have an invalid book. You guys followed a really stupid legend. Legend of the book getting in print. Turn off that it got printed. So, because I'm an expositor and I actually know the meaning of the word, I got the Greek exposition. You didn't know how to read in Latin or English. You got the legend of Jesus, and that's what you did, Christian. You're well, way too far gone. Having kept a legend of Jesus, a Latin Greek legend. Let's go sniff that Aramaic a little bit. Oh yeah, I had a closer connection with the Kabbalah of the quell theory that you couldn't figure out because you thought that was a cult, but you refused to acknowledge that you're the cult. You're too dumb. Your Baptist organizations are stupid. Fuck. We had all of those books babbling on. Yeah, no fucking shit. That's what it meant. You're just babbling on, idiots. Can't even accept Jesus was a false Messiah. You think you're preaching him? Hey, look at him! He preached us a false sermon. Way to go! A false Messiah on a false cross that wasn't there. Way to fucking go! Sunday idiot. Puff on puff for giving you a book you can't read. Sunday fucking moron. So you have 6,000 year Earth still with cult on the internet who can't figure out that the Bible is medieval and known. And weirdness. Oh, your dad is medieval and valid also. You can't figure out what the age of the earth is through the Bible. NASA can't figure it out through the Bible. Always invalid as a legend. That's, way to go, NASA. So, Christian idiots, Christian scientists and morons, you're fucking morons. Kabbalah is a science, and Quell is a theory, and Kabbalah with the Q is dumb, and you have no brains in Washington State. We had a volcano to explain, and that was how did you get down to 20 million years for Earth and didn't have a volcanic explosion that happened 200 million years ago. Lord Kelvin, that was both sides of the years, and they got it both wrong. Are you sure about the age of the Grand Canyon? Way to go. Yeah, so the Grand Canyon, no erosion ever occurred in that, but I'd give over the 4.543 billion years, I'd give 100 feet of erosion of the sand blowing each other off at the top. When you used to touch from Pangea and you have a capacity to observe from NASA, you got a simple legend to figure out. So Sunday morning, there's 7.7 billion of you that can't figure out Kennewick Man 9,200-year-old fossil remain as your missing link you don't have. Oh, and 7.7 billion of you who do not understand that Neanderthal 140,000-year presence is more accurate than a brainless idiot from a sermon who thinks that there's a magic poofing 6,000-year sermon, and that you can trust geology, such as there's only 25% of you left, you morons. You're a cult. And 50% of you with the Bible in print. Cult. Jesus legend. English legend. Cult. Jesus English legend. Cult. Internet. NASA. Weird. I eat my venison and savor it because this was Zohar told me to. I have cooked it with some pork also because it tastes good that way. And it's a lie that you know what the word said in the Bible and you got any word in right. It's a lie that you understood the 1611. You didn't understand that it left you in the year 1611. So from 1611 to 1859, you kept 6,000-year legend, and in 1859 through the year 2020, you grew $22 trillion of debt, $28 trillion of debt that quick. Boom, you're done with 6,000 year. While your NASA debt, $28 trillion of debt for the age of the Grand Canyon. Christian idiot. Turn off Bible because you even had it. Couldn't read a single word in it. It's a medieval Andala that you had it. Couldn't read a single word in the Bible. Even take God out of it. No one's ever seen God. Hey, I bet you that's a little bit more important to God than you'd think. Cult. Idiot. You invalidated your brain. Two medieval sentences you couldn't figure out. Deuteronomy 34:10. Aren't they medievally valid? True. Yeah, in 1611 they were there, and they're still there. And y'all got it wrong. And you didn't put, run scared, fucking scared from the White Cliffs of Dover God made you out of coming over from Trinity College collapse that. Wow. Wow. Medieval. Where you don't have an education system now. English speaking world, way too dumb for the Bible. Welcome to the OTO, where you explain that you're in hell. That happened during the Middle Ages. They just left too much out there. They didn't understand a word in English in the Bible. It was kind of pathetically shameful that you still have it in the year 2020 and you can't figure out NASA data is for real. But they called it a quasar, so that was a little bit hard for you because it wasn't God. God and Moses spoke face to face. That was a magic proofing quasar they couldn't figure out. So because they didn't know the Bible, they didn't say, "Hey, this is Genesis 1:9 right here." We should probably sniff a little bit closer to see where to put God back in at. Oh, we have a cult over there. We got to collapse and cut the balls off the Pope up. Job to do since 1859 you haven't done yet. Homosexual great apes. Furries. Magic. Poof. Poof. You're all in hell. Furries. The Australian Aboriginal are furries to Mr. President Trump. Mr. President Trump is a furry to Israel. They have Neolithic settlements going back 20,000 years ago. They haven't told Mr. President Trump, the magic poof furry, that, hey, we got Auschwitz and we didn't even sniff our home ground that well. Never look at your own hill or your own mountain, such as a 500,000 year cone and a 12 million year base of a mountain right the fuck there, providing shade to your fucking drive through the Alps. Fucking idiots. 770 Alps, line the C-17 around. Yeah, there's no under 6,000 years age. I'm just still amazed you got to the moon on a power kite. You're all in hell. Nothing in the Bible, nothing in between, nothing. It's kind of boring after that. Take God out of it. You don't have a story but a legend in English. Legend of a false sermon, a legend of a 6,000 year earth couldn't turn up a book because it's always been invalid from the 1500s. Invalid 1611, moniker of time, invalid in English, invalid in the Mormon Church, invalid. Bible is invalid because you can't read it. I'm preparing for my walk. I'm just eating my grits before I do that. Never thought about the Bible well, so you didn't notice God wasn't in it. God and Moses spoke face to face. Moses wrote down all of the words that were important to that. We told you how it made it. It's more of a medieval wonderment. You still have the Bible and you can't figure it out as a puzzle it is. So we got to get rid of the whole thing. God and Moses, you took God out of the Bible. You couldn't go back into 1640 and say, James Ussher didn't read the Bible right. Ooh. Provided a 6,000 year medieval legend of October 23, 4004 BC that broke at 3760. It broke at 4000. And you had a lot of dates to reconcile that. So now I've got 4.543 billion years to reconcile that and 4.543 billion years on both sides of the reality. We have real reconciliation on NASA. Figured that one out for you. Thanks, NASA. We'll take your data and then just be done with Bible. That's a medieval legend. On Sunday. In under an hour. NASA. You all know. NASA. Having that Bible in print, not knowing what it once upon said from 1611, still. Had a way to get out of it, but you couldn't. Oddly enough, getting out of it isn't what I thought it was. I just knew it had Genesis 1:9 in there and had to solve it at that. And so it took quite a few years, and so I did that. So you don't get a choice on how many years it took me to read and handwrite the whole Bible. It fucking took a long ass time. It fucking took circle in your head in my brain. You have been suffering in Washington State for having followed a medieval legend in print for that long. The medieval legend in print you can figure out. The 1611 medieval legend in print in 1859 still in print. In 2020 still in print. In 2005 to 2010 still invalid at medieval legend of false messiah. Jimmy Swear, you're cut off. Thanks for your contribution to the Seventh Angel Scroll. All Bibles in print. My favorite is the Episcopalian Bible with God in it twice in an explanation. Hey, we thought evolution would take care of you here. But the Christians don't believe in evolution, according to the one I took on my mission trip. But let's turn off a theory. You're too dumb for an 1859 theory now. Because in 1859, you had all of the data that you didn't pay attention to. In 1850, you have on this internet now everything you need. Rises and birth defects of Washington State doctors concerned. Kennewick Man, 9,200-year-old fossil record. 500,000-year cone. On the little pimple of Mount Rainier. When's it going to explode next? Who gives a shit? Been done. You're medievally magically poofed. Your furries have been since 99. Have been since 99. Cult turned off. You just dumb. You shouldn't be there. You've always been a cult. Always been too dumb for the Bible. Always been too immoral to accept that your religion is false. Stupid as a Christian, always doing the same fucking stupid bullshit. All the repetitive cycle, monkey typing, grade ape stupids at cult can't turn off because the earth has never once upon a time been 6,000 years. You're so dumb. You're a fucking immoral retard at cult. You're a fucking pastor with the medieval magic poofing book you can't read. You're all fucking too stupid for the Bible, fucking too stupid for earth history. You're too fucking dumb because you're a Christian. You meet on Sunday, fucking too stupid, immoral, incompetent retard at cult, fucking too stupid, immoral, incompetent retard with book, too stupid, incompetent, can't read a book, can't because it's in English, so it's got a legend of Jesus, fucking dumb for the Bible. From the Matterhorn. Fuck you, you two stupid, dipshit, dumb Christians.